Mushrooms are a great source of umami, but by far the king of umami is soy sauce. So I figured, why not combine the two to create a mushroom soy sauce? Now, if you're a subscriber of the channel, you probably know that we've been on a bit of a garam train lately. I've turned beef, oysters, and a whole rotisserie chicken into garam. And this will be pretty much the same process as those, except I'm gonna call this one a soy sauce because I'll be using soybeans as the base for this recipe. I'm gonna be going for an 80-20 split between soybeans and shiitake mushrooms, that is, of their dry weight. So I went ahead and soaked both the soybeans and the mushrooms the day before. So the soybeans are nice and plump and the mushrooms are completely rehydrated. I drained the water from the soybeans and then threw them into a pressure cooker, but I added both the mushrooms and the water they were soaking in as the water takes on a lot of that mushroom flavor. I'll pressure cook for about 30 minutes or until the soybeans are soft. If you don't have a pressure cook, you can also do this in a regular stock pot, except it will actually take a couple hours for the soybeans to get soft enough. Once the soybeans were thoroughly cooked though, I poured them out into a colander to separate the liquid from the solids, but I won't be throwing away this liquid. I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna use it later in the process. Before we do anything though, I need to cool the soybeans and mushrooms down, which I'll do by turning a fan on to blow cool air while I mix the soybeans and mushrooms. Like this, I can cool it all off in just only a few minutes. Now, it doesn't need to be completely cool. If it's a little warm to the touch, that's still fine. We just don't want this to be scalding hot when we add our koji rice a little bit later down the line. I then transferred the soybeans and the mushrooms to a pitcher that I zeroed on a scale because I'm gonna need to use the total weight of the soybeans and mushrooms to calculate the water, salt, and koji that I'm gonna be needing for this recipe. You see, the beauty of using ratios and percentages for recipes like this is that it's completely scalable up or down. But once I have the total weight, I'll calculate 50% of it to add as water, but instead of water, I'll be using that liquid we separated earlier from the pressure cooker, which has also cooled down quite a bit. I'll also calculate 20% for my koji rice and 10% for my salt. With my soybeans, mushrooms, and liquid all in the jug, I'm gonna take an immersion blender and then blend everything up smooth. And to that paste, I'm gonna add my 10% salt. I always use natural sea salt for my ferments, but kosher salt also works as well. I'm using the same immersion blender to mix in the salt and then checking the temperature to double check that this is cool enough to add my koji rice. As long as the temperature of the mix is below 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, it's safe to add the koji rice. And if you wanna know how I made this koji rice, you can check the video linked in the description. I'll give the mixture one more good blend and then transfer into the container I'll be using to ferment this. While I like to usually use glass jars, all of my larger glass jars were occupied, so I decided to try using this hotel pan. I poured in my mixture, pressed down some baking paper to minimize air contact, and then semi-filled a Ziploc bag with water, made sure it was sealed completely shut so it won't leak. I also added some tape to add another seal, but this unstuck itself pretty quickly, so I wouldn't bother. I placed the bag on top of the baking paper to press everything down, put a lid on the hotel pan, and then placed it in my fermenting chamber, which is actually just a commercial rice warmer, which I set to about 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. You see, 50 to 60 degrees Celsius is the ideal temperature for the enzymes in the rice koji to get to work, converting the proteins in the soybeans and mushrooms into amino acids, which is what gives that umami flavor. After about a month, I decided to pull this out and give it a check, peeling away the baking paper, revealing a deep, dark, almost black paste. And scraping away at the top, I can see that it's not actually as dark as the surface, and I could probably get the whole thing this dark if I mix this up and then placed it back, but in order to get this video out in a timely manner, I'm gonna forgo that, and I'll transfer everything into another bowl and then into my screw press, lined with a fine cheesecloth. This is gonna allow me to extract way more of that mushroom soy sauce than if I was just using my hands, or just letting this drip dry. The trick is to screw the press as hard as you can, then wait about 5 to 10 minutes, and then come back to screw it some more. I found it's almost impossible to do this in one big screw, meaning this process can take an hour or two to really get as much liquid out as possible. People have asked whether the solids are any good to use in other things, and in the past when I've tried to eat the solids from the ferment like this, they have little to no flavor left as it's basically all been squeezed out in the liquid. So I ran the final mushroom soy sauce through a coffee filter and then transferred it into some glass bottles to store, but not before I gave this a little taste. Now I had a little bit left that I put into this small bottle and I'm gonna use this for my taste testing. I kind of made this as an experiment, just wanted to see if I could make something that's a little bit more interesting than soy sauce, maybe get some like mushroom flavor in there as well, hoping it would like elevate it. So I have no expectation for this. It smells really kind of generic. I'm not picking up too much mushroom on the nose there. Then again, shiitake mushrooms are just generally quite earthy, so maybe some other mushrooms might work as well, but I wanted to use shiitake mushrooms because They're cheaper here, and they are generally used for like stocks and stuff, so I figured maybe that would work well. But let's give this a taste. It is very dark though still. Definitely as dark as any soy sauce you'll get in the stores. It kind of just smells like soy sauce too. That is definitely very umami. It just tastes like soy sauce, but there is a little bit of earthiness from that mushroom in there as well. And it goes straight to the back of the tongue. This one is actually quite enjoyable, and you know what? Out of all the different garums and these like fermented amino umami sauces that I've made, this one is by far what I think is the most usable one in the kitchen. Like you could use this exactly as you would soy sauce because it doesn't really like have any other strong flavor to it. This could definitely be used as just a salt alternative for some extra umami. If I did use soy sauce that much, this would be the one that I would make over and over again, or just make in a larger batch as well. And maybe just experiment with like other mushrooms or doing stuff with the mushrooms before putting them in. But so that is just a great standard mushroom soy sauce. Use that mushroom for just a little bit more earthiness, a little bit more mushroominess, but it's still got that deep umami flavor. Light on the salt as well, because I did 10% salt. Usually soy sauce is around 20% salt. And I think that makes this just a little bit more enjoyable too. And probably good for like dipping maybe gyoza or like dumplings in too. So happy with that one. With that said, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit like. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And go ahead and leave a comment with any more suggestions. And I am currently working on another pretty interesting garum, which is turning out way more unique than the other ones. So if you want to see that as well, make sure you subscribe. But I'll see you in the next one.